Good morning, everybody. This is just a quick little video. The lecture for this week is it's printed up and you can read it for yourself. Please note also that the reading for this week is Wilhoit, chapter 12. So if you read my lecture and read Wilhoit, chapter 12, you'll have a great plan for accomplishing this project. My students in these classes tend to feel kind of fortunate in a way when we come to the research project, because frankly some of my colleagues require substantially longer research papers with substantially more sources, and that's a perfectly reasonable pedagogical approach, but I decided some years ago that I would rather have quality over quantity. So I ask you for 7 sources, and I expect you to get them absolutely right. I expect the quality to be there instead of asking you for 15 or 20 sources and hoping you get most of them right by just practicing it. Again, it's a difference in approach. You can take it or leave it, but for my English 1A classes, the research project is shorter and less involved than many of my colleagues. There is someone on campus who I know of, not in the English department, who requires a 13-page research paper with, I believe, 20 sources. And if it's 12 pages, that professor doesn't read it and you fail the class. So you've got it real easy, comparably speaking. So you might want to celebrate that. This week is about documentation. Documentation is tedious and sometimes frustrating, but documentation is not hard. Again, in speaking in terms of quality, for the kinds of work you're going to be doing and the kinds of sources you're going to be working with, there's a model that's exactly the right model to follow, and all you have to do is find it and follow it exactly. It's a matter of discipline and focus. It's not a matter of working hard. It's a matter of working smart. There's a difference. So if you think about it this way, it helps, at least it helped me place this in perspective. Think about you're having a conversation on a controversial issue with someone else, and you have stated your position, and then someone comes along and they want to be able to pick up where you left off, so that they don't need to do a lot of background, they don't need to redo all of your sources, so they can pick up and carry the conversation forward. And so all you have to do is leave traces of where you've been. You have to leave a trail of breadcrumbs for the person who comes after you, so that the conversation can go forward. I think the thing about research that sometimes students don't understand is that it's an exercise in humility. It's not all about me. It's about my piece of the conversation and my creating the best quality piece of the conversation that I can, so then when someone else comes along after me who will take the conversation forward, they're starting with the best quality they can find, and I've left a trail for them to follow. That's why documentation is important. And the only difference in the academic world is there's a formalized way to leave those breadcrumbs or those road signs using the formalized conventions of academic writing, so the next scholar can easily read your roadmap. It's that simple. Tedious, yes. Boring, yes. Time-consuming, possibly, but not hard. It's really, really not hard. And again, if you read, you read my lectures and you listen to my videos and we engage in the discussions, and then you read Wilhoit, and Wilhoit is better organized than I would ever be, because Wilhoit is a textbook, so there's the organized process and there's the examples to follow. It's just not difficult. It's not hard. And again, you're going for quality, not quantity, and that's the choice that I made some years ago. So this week I'm asking you for a a works cited page. And I've delineated very carefully for you what you need to produce on that works cited page. If you you can go in if you want to, and you want to do it quickly, go onto the library databases, copy and paste a bunch of stuff, get it in the right formatting, get the spacing and everything right, and submit it. Or you can work with the sources that you think you might use in your research paper. This ideally should be related to your research paper, but that might take you a little longer to research and look at those sources. I sent to you the reminder for today from the Baylor University organizer. I put the dates in, and they send me an email every day, and I'm going to be forwarding those to you to let you know what you should be doing. Okay, so there's that. The other thing is that because there's a short due date next week, and this whole thing is due next Thursday at 5 p.m. because that's when the summer semester ends. So you don't have next weekend, you just have this weekend. So I'm trying to back away and give you as much control over managing the process as I can. The discussions this week are designed to help you in places where students typically get stuck, and to help each other, because remember, in 2 weeks I'll be out of your lives forever, and your challenge of writing research papers, however, will not be. You'll be writing research papers for the rest of your academic career, and in fact, when you have to make important life decisions, quite often doing substantial research, like for instance, who you're going to vote for president, you should research that very carefully and make an educated vote instead of being swayed by the crap these candidates are spewing on both sides. So research is a challenge for the rest of your life, for people who wish their lives to proceed, and for people who want to be lifelong learners. You'll be doing research for the rest of your life, but I will not be there to guide you. So I want you to start taking control over this, and so the discussions this week are designed to give you as much control over the next week and a half as possible. There is a discussion, if you want to start peer reviewing this week, that's a great idea. If you've got anything at all ready to go and you want to throw it up there and start peer reviewing with each other, that would be great. That discussion does not carry credit this week. However, next week, and again, remember, next week is a short week. We start on Tuesday morning and we finish Thursday night. But next week is a very short week. Peer review will be required next week. So if you get started on it this week, I'll note that in the requirements for next week. Okay, the other discussions are self-explanatory. The assignment sheets for both assignments, both the works cited page that's due this week and the final capstone project that's not due until next week, both of those assignment sheets are up there. You've got the reading the reading in Wilhoit to guide you. You've got my lectures and the questions to guide you. You've got discussions to help guide each other. There's an absolute wealth of resource out there for you. Okay, so have a great week, and I will be checking in with you. Bye.